We've been talking about the backswing for a few days and what's going on, especially with the trail hip, trail shoulder, what's going on with the golf club. But today I'd really like you to understand what's going on. Why do we have the golf club doing what it's doing? How is it affecting our body? What are the forces around us doing? And some of the most common mistakes, and how that leads us into bad shots or bad takeaways lead into bad shots. So just to review, we talked about opening up right hip, right shoulder. We talked about how the setup affects that and how the setup helps us to do that. So again, we want to be working away from the golf ball. See, the head of the golf club needs to be working away from the ball, and that's what we're going to go over today. So one thing that I would say is that a loop is not necessarily a bad thing. It's more of a good thing than bad. The correct loop, what I see, the loop that I see most of the time is the loop that the club goes too far to the inside and then it works back towards the ball. Okay, so in everything, all the momentum and everything is going into the ball. Again, that's what we're trying to avoid. So again, what I see a lot of, again, too much on the toes. Okay, so if we get too much on our toes, we know it restricts our right shoulder, right hip. Everything is digging in, so we have to kind of save ourselves by taking the club to the inside. Now, it's not all your fault, because we know we want to hit the ball from the inside. So the great idea, or the most logical thing, would to go inside, or feel like the club goes inside, because that's the path I want to hit it on. Unfortunately, I wish it was that easy, and partly that's why I have a job, so I can explain it, but here's why that won't work. So if I get on my toes and I'm really top heavy, everything's grabbing, this is locked up, the club, to put me back on balance, see, the club goes back to the inside. It gets me more to my heels. Now the problem is when it goes here, it can't go back forever. So eventually it's got to reroute. And what's going to happen? See, the momentum, it's all about the weight of the club, or the momentum of the weight of the golf club. So when it goes to the inside this way, all of a sudden it stops. See, my shoulder locks up, it can't go anymore, my hip can't move, and the club starts to work towards the ball. Okay, when the momentum of the head starts to go towards the ball, everything starts going towards the ball. So my body and everything. So usually what has to happen is I've got to get out of the way, or I've got to come over the top of it. So a lot can go wrong when the club goes too far to the inside, momentum goes too far towards the ball, and everything starts falling into the ball. So how do we stop that? Well, exactly what we're working on. So the club head's going to feel like it's going slightly to the outside. Now, if you're going to feel like you're going to err either way, almost every good player I know, it's okay to take it too far to the outside, because the club's going to work away anyways. So too far to the outside is way better than too far to the inside. So once we get here, set up, see, the club's going to work out this way. Remember, that's where we felt like our wrists were working this way. Now the momentum works out, so it can work away. The away part, again, this part of my arm, the rotation of my arm, works the head away. So again, it looks like a loop. It goes out so it can work away from the ball. Okay, so when the head works away, because again, we want to hit it from the inside. When the head works away, what that does, it starts to help pin my shoulder back. It helps pin my right shoulder and my right hip back. Okay, so now we can swing from the inside, because our body's not in the way. So that's why the correct loop, so not this loop, but this loop, will make you a much better player. That's our best chance of hitting it from the inside. So again, in review, get your grip right, get your posture right, so feel like you're 6 inches back with your hips, okay? Little knee flex, so the head's going to work. It works out, so the momentum works out, so when the club breaks across, see, it can pin my shoulder and my hip back, so I can swing it from the inside. Okay, so again, it works out, back, to the ball. And I can feel that in my shoulder. When the club breaks back over this way, I can feel the head of the club, the momentum, it helps pin my shoulder back, pin my hip back so the club can swing down. So again, I'm not moving into the golf ball. So again, get your setup right, get your grip right. So I'm going to feel a little this, goes out, and then it rotates back. My hand faces the camera, and the rotation of my arm helps get the head back. So out, rotation from the inside. See, it helps pin my right shoulder, right hip back. So again, out, the club works back, it pins me back. Now I can swing it from the inside and hit it from the inside. So hopefully that clears up of what we're trying to do with the club, why it works on the path that it works on, what we're using, our hand and our arm, and the momentum and the weight of the club, the things that we're using to develop a little bit of a loop in the swing. So obviously the other loop is bad, it gets the momentum going into the ball, work away from the ball so we can hit it from the inside with our body working away and the club working towards the ball. So hopefully that helps, and we'll keep moving forward as we again are on house arrest, and hopefully this makes sense and is helping you.